Good morning. This is Karen with Veronica's Dreams Coaching and Tarot. And this is our daily reading today. I think I'm going to do, on Tuesdays I do our cross a change reading, and that's basically looking at something that you may want to change. So we're going to have the root of the issue, how you see yourself in that, a next action to take, obstacles, strengths. I'm going to do hidden obstacles and hidden strengths. What you don't see at all, and then outcome. So I'm adding a couple cards to it. See how that goes. Nope, cut it. Okay, so root of the issue is the Fool. I feel like we got this yesterday, or maybe we didn't. Maybe it was in another reading I did, but I think so. I'm gonna have to take a look. Okay, so Fool, how you see yourself, strength, that's good. Next action, Queen of Pentacles, obstacles, Ten of Cups, strengths, Seven of Pentacles, hidden obstacles, Queen of Swords, hidden strengths, world, what you don't see, Six of Cups, outcome, Five of Cups. Interesting. Huh. We don't like that, do we? Like all these daily ones aren't for long term, but here we have the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I do feel like this had something to do with yesterday because I felt like we were talking about choices, and maybe it was another reading, but I'm going to look back. Yeah, I feel like the issue here isn't the root of the issue is starting a new journey. I think that either you want to start one or you're starting one, but it's not going as you feel like it should. Because this is a root of an issue that there's a new journey about, but you're holding back. And I can see that with the obstacles. You do see yourself strong. So you have strength in how you see yourself. You do see yourself strong. But I almost get the idea that sometimes this can hinder you. Sometimes when we see ourselves strong, I think we've talked about this, we tend to not let anyone in because we're wearing a mask. And she does. Half of her face is the lion and half is her own. And sometimes when we portray our strength and we don't want anyone else to see our weaknesses, or that we have weaknesses, and we all do, we sometimes put a face on, that I'm good, I'm happy, I'm all of that, so I think you do see yourself as strong, but I think you are also recognizing that you are more than strong. Sometimes you are vulnerable, sometimes you are not wanting to do it alone, that kind of thing. It's like the other half of you is coming out too, which is good. I think it's very good. So I think this talks about an action, and we'll talk more about this, I think, when we get further. But this is the Queen of Pentacles, and I feel like this is really talking about using this energy. So she's very she's stable, she's very much into her home, really taking care of her home and those around her. And it's not like the Queen of Cups where it's emotion based. This is practicality based. She likes nice things too, don't get me wrong. And when I say that, I mean when she looks at her home, she appreciates it. She wants those things around her that make her feel good. She takes care of her home one way or another. So I think that it's saying that the next action is to be in that kind of spirit, taking care of yourself on a practical level, making sure that you stay practical in some of these decisions that you're making. I really feel like that's kind of what it's saying here. Um, I do. So your obstacle that you are aware of is Ten of Cups. I feel like that could be someone getting in your way or having a false sense of a false goal in mind. Or, okay, so let's say you are trying to build a relationship with somebody, friendship, more romantic, it doesn't matter. Sometimes when we're doing that, we're so focused on that we forget about the other things around us, which could mean that, we've got this new journey, but if we're so stuck on something that we think is important and we're not looking at the whole thing, that can really bring us down. It can be an obstacle. So your strength is the Seven of Pentacles, which tells me that you are able to start nurturing this idea, this full idea, this new journey, this nurturing the fact that you're not always strong, looking at yourself completely. This is planting seeds, but taking care of that garden as you see fit. You are doing that. You are moving forward in that direction, which kind of is slow, right? But it is, it's happening and you're working through it. That's important. I mean, that's a really good strength to have, is to work through this situation. So an obstacle that you don't see is the Queen of Swords. God, this feels so familiar. And this is really about being over logical. Sometimes we try to plan something too much, and when it doesn't go as planned, we get disappointed. And I think this is why this is here. This is our outcome, and that's a not such a good outcome. But I think it's because of the overthinking. So we're going to plan X, Y, Z. This is what our expectations are, and then if something doesn't meet our expectations, what happens? We get disappointed. And so this could very well be an obstacle, but you might not be recognizing it as an obstacle because, hey, I'm supposed to be making plans. Hey, I'm supposed to have this, goal setting or whatever. But it depends on how you're looking at that goal setting, on how it works. So this definitely could be an obstacle for sure. So the world does say this. So this is a hidden strength, and this is something that you might not understand about this situation. Is you are successful. You're also at the end of something else. So to begin this new journey, this ending is important. It is a strength because that means something else is ending in a successful way, not in a bad way, not the Ten of Swords, not sad, not any of that. It's a completion. It's literally, well, it's the last card in the tarot, right? Or in the majors. So you have taken that, you need to recognize this too. This is important that you recognize that you are successful and that you have completed something in your life to be able to start something new with the Fool. What that completion is, we may take a look at that. Something you don't see. So I think this might be it. This is something from the past. I do feel like there's something from the past that is doing two things to you. I think it's doing both a positive and a negative. I feel like there is somebody, doesn't mean romantic, just somebody from the past that's making you see yourself for who you are, not all strong, half and half. You have the strength, absolutely, but you also have a vulnerable side. But at the same time, I feel like this person in your past, you may be thinking in a different tone. So that's why this Ten of Cups could be an obstacle. I do see this overall as a benefit depending on how you choose to look at it. Because if you're looking at it to get here, again, that's what's going to cause our disappointment. And our outcome is the Five of Cups. I want to pull some cards on the Five of Cups because you know me, I don't want to leave it in a you're going to be disappointed. But what does this really mean? And what does disappointment really mean? How can we be disappointed if we don't have expectations? If we're expecting a certain outcome, then yes, we can be disappointed. if we close off expectations to some degree, say, okay, here's my goals, attainable goals, then it'll be less likely that you will get disappointed because you'll be able to get to those goals. Attainable goals. What can I do today, this week, this month? Seriously do that I can absolutely check off my list. And if I don't do it, I'm disappointed in myself. And it could be that you're disappointed in yourself. Maybe that's what it is too. But you have these expectations that are not, for some reason, you're not meeting. And I do believe your obstacles are getting in your way. The logic and the idea of a certain outcome, which is the Ten of Cups, and the logic of the Queen of Swords. So you're thinking to yourself, I'm being very logical and very step by step, but heck, how am I going to get there? I am not getting there. You could be too stringent on yourself too. That could be another thing, because this card is, and I do feel like it's you being disappointed in your own expectations. I don't think anyone is disappointing you. I don't think there is a situation that's disappointing you. I think you're disappointing you. And the only way we do that is if we've set our bar too high. I'm going to go out one card. Okay, I'm not supposed to read any more into this because, and I know most of you know me, when I get the High Priestess, when I'm starting to read out on anything, this is my stop card. Stop doing the reading. This is the initial outcome that the Aquarians are supposed to know. So you're supposed to realize that you can get disappointed. Doesn't mean that that has to happen that way though. Here we have good information on a situation that you're trying to, create a new journey in, and you can take a look at your own goal setting. And I think that's the key. And it's about being practical with yourself, not being so stringent on yourself, being practical. Practical Queen of Pentacles. Sorry, that's my stop card. But I think that's what this is really telling you, that you can overcome these. Take a look at what the obstacles are and take a look at the expectations you have on yourself. Because if you can't meet those, you will be disappointed. So in other words, I think that's what this is saying more than you will be disappointed. It's up to you how you treat this new situation, what kind of goals you set. If you set non-attainable goals, you will be disappointed. If you set attainable goals, you won't be disappointed. And sometimes, depending on the situation, we need to be really careful about what kind of goals we set. I know that like one of the things I deal with a lot is anxiety and depression, and I deal with it, and but I do know that there's twofold. Like if I set a goal and I procrastinate that, I get more depressed or more anxious. If I move forward with that goal and I complete it, let's say it's just a simple, stupid thing like, okay, this is straight up, I want to mop the floors today. That's what my goal is. I'm off work, I can mop the floors today. I am thinking of everything to do but mop the floors. So I'm like sabotaging myself, which will lead to, me disappointing myself. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm not trying to put myself out there. I'm just giving a perfect example of how I can disappoint myself. And I do it all the time. Like, that's what I do. My issues are all within myself. I'm the only one that can control them. But I do see that kind of like this, but whatever this situation is, I think this is important. So I think it's really important to take a look at it. And I think this is why this came up. And I think that's why they don't want me to read any further, because I think what cards can tell us is you need to start taking action so that you don't get there. And I think sometimes we need to say or hear not the good, because we need to change something. And so instead of having a tower moment, take it upon ourselves to do the changes that need to be done. So I hope this resonated. I hope this made sense. I do like this spread a lot. I may do this a couple times a week. I don't know. I'm trying to kind of mix things up a little bit, but I always go back to my normal one. Anyway, I hope you all, thank you. Please hit like. Have a beautiful day. It's kind of gloomy here, but I think that's okay. I'm going to hang out. Talk to you soon. Thanks.